We are just 2 weeks away from playoff racing in Season 2 of the Challenger Cup Series for 2025, and the penultimate race of the regular season brings us to the Northeast, and one of the most unique circuits that we will travel to all season. It's the New Hampshire Motor Speedway in Loudon, New Hampshire. It's the host for race 13 of the second season of the 2025 calendar year for the Challenger Cup Series. I want to wish you good evening and welcome into the Magic Mile for 151 laps in the penultimate race of the regular season. 2 more opportunities for drivers to lock themselves in or to improve their playoff seeding headed in to the second set of playoffs here in 2025. As throughout the night tonight, we'll kind of get you primed for the playoffs. We'll do it next week as well at the Kansas Speedway. We'll get you prepped for the playoffs and ready to go here on PGR eSports. But again, want to wish you good evening. My name is Dawson Wise, and I'll be taking you through all the action for the next 151 laps here in New Hampshire. Qualifying on the racetrack right now is almost complete, and we will have the grid for tonight's race. The points coming in have taken some shifts over the last several weeks in terms of who runs where. The biggest shifts last week, +3 for a pair of teammates. GT Irizarry and Travis Everett now 3rd and 4th. At the Challenger Cup Series points, leaving Bristol last week, Andrew Little is up to 2nd in the points standings as Christian Strader, we mentioned his circumstances, drops to the 5th spot in the points. Now, the interesting thing about Strader, he is in the field tonight at Loudon, so an opportunity to maybe gain some of those points back that he lost. Another big loser last week in terms of points was Matt Hayden. He is down to the 7th spot in the standings, so he could really use a good run here tonight in New Hampshire in order to improve his playoff seeding come next week. The battle for the cut line, not really a battle right now, as there are a lot of drivers down there that are not going to be eligible for the playoffs at this point. So we'll tell you about that throughout the evening tonight. We'll try to get some clarification on who can and who can't race in the postseason. But with qualifying complete, we are going to work on taking you down trackside and getting ready for 151 laps at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. On the pole tonight from New Hampshire with a quick time of 29.195 seconds. Stop me if you've heard it before. It's Ryan Patty in the 30. To his outside, it will be Andrew Little in the 68 machine. Of course, last week in Bristol, managed to get his first win of the season and second short track win in 2025. So looking to go to a 3-for-3 record on these short tracks for Little tonight. On row 2, it's Matt Hayden in the 5, looking for a good run. Dropped to 7th in the points last week, looking to regain some of that ground that he lost. He'll go from 3rd. And, of course, it's the former points leader, Christian Strader, that will go from position number 4. Back on row 3, it's Harold Watkins in the 3, a 2-time winner here in this second season in 2025, and the winningest driver in the calendar year of 2025. 7 total wins for Watkins in this year, and still several races to go on good tracks for him. GT Irizarry will go from position number 6. Good few weeks for the 14. On row 4, it's John Velocity, another guy that needs a good run tonight in the 84. He's down around that cut line. He'll go from 7th. James Catrone had a great run going last week, was on pace to potentially win. He's up to 8th in the standings, but looking to continue that momentum forward, he'll go from 8th. Row 5, Brandon Beauchamp in the 15. He's gotten himself into a playoff position. He'll go from 9th tonight, and alongside him it's Harold Rothery, who as of tonight I believe would also be playoff racing in the 7. He'll go from position number 10. Back on row 6, it's Hunter Carlson in the 32. He'll go from position number 11, the Kansas winner from last season. The Atlanta winner from this season, Stephen Luttrell, will go from position number 12. Row 7, it's Cody Eldred, a guy that loves short tracks, in the 34. He'll go from 13th tonight, though. Stephen Rasick will go from 14th, the final car to take a time. 2 cars opting to not take qualifying times tonight, those being Jimmy Fitzmaurice and Mike Martino. So it is 16 cars. It is 151 laps here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Again, 2 races to go in the regular season, and this is one of your last opportunities to get some points to lead you into the playoffs. The stage at the end of lap 38, 3 extra tire sets in the pits. These guys are ready. I'm ready up here. I hope you are as well. The pace truck is down. Ryan Patty brings him to the green flag. Green flag is in the air. We're racing from New Hampshire. A little extended crank it up segment to begin tonight's race because I messed up the audio there at the start, so apologies for that. But regardless, you're going to see this, excuse me, a lot tonight. Ooh, trouble out back. John Velocity gets sideways in the 84. He's going to go to the apron. It will not draw the caution. I thought it did for a moment. It will not. Velocity not the start. The 84 needs to his night. He goes around the back straightaway. But as I was saying, you're going to see a lot of this dynamic line choice tonight, where you see some guys run all the way down on the bottom, some guys run right here in the middle, some guys like Andrew Little are going to run way up at the top side of the racetrack and use that exit speed similarly to the NASCAR guys on Sunday afternoon, because the top line of this racetrack is progressively banked. The apron is flat. It's mostly flat down by the bottom. It's a little bit more progressive as you work up. You can get a little bit more exit speed. Andrew Little is the first to try that right now. It has not yet fully come in. He's not seeing a ton of success, but as of right now, he's the only one really up there trying to rubber that line in. Strader, meanwhile, is polar opposite. He's down on the bottom side of the racetrack. It's the shortest way around. Not as much speed, but they make contact. Andrew Little, that's a heck of a save right there, but he's going to come back up. Luttrell's in it. Rothery's in it. Another car into the outside wall. That's Carlson, and they pile him up at the end of the back straightaway as contact between Christian Strader and Andrew Little sparks up the first caution flag of the night on lap 5. Cody Eldred is involved in the 34 as well. Now we will go back and start to dissect what happens here. It's going to be some contact between the 68 of Little and the 29 of Strader. Strader's car pushes tight on the exit of the corner. Little runs down. That's about where you'd run off the corner, but Strader, I think, anticipates he's going to go out further by the wall. They make contact. Little makes the save. And as he goes to crank his car back into line, it snaps right on him. He comes up. He grabs Luttrell. Luttrell almost goes airborne. Rothery, there's his piece of it. You're going to see Carlson get it as well. And where does Cody Eldred come into this in the 34? There he is right there. And what happens to the 34? These guys all spin down. Oh, it's going to be Luttrell. You see him on the left side of your screen coming back across. And Eldred, not going to be anywhere for him to go. That's a pretty good flush hit to the right side of Luttrell's car as well. So, tough break for those two cars in the middle of the back straightaway. Again, here's another look at how it started. Kind of give you a wide angle of exactly how this gets going. There's the contact, and all of a sudden, man, there's just not much place to go for some of those guys. Carlson, Rothery, Luttrell, you see Eldred up ahead as guys scramble to miss it. Go on board with Cody Eldred real quick. I can show you kind of what I mean. You know, it looks like in that slow motion replay, oh man, he had so much time to make his mind up. This is really how much time he had right here. Home free, and then the car kind of blocks Luttrell from his line of sight coming back across the racetrack, and there's just not much you can do as a driver in that position. The caution flag flies over New Hampshire for the first time on lap 5. We're now on lap 8 as Ryan Patty leads the way here at the Magic Mile. Again, 151 laps, 38 is the stage. So we will run 38 laps. We'll go to a stage break. We'll give out some stage points. And then we will get back to racing after that, as we have all season. So we'll go back to green on lap 9. Still 143 laps to go. With Ryan Patty and GT Irizarry on the front row, Stephen Rasick stays out under that caution. He'll go from third, and Watkins, I think, is the first car that pit in the 4th position. Green flag in the air, and away we go. Out back, they really get stacked up, and Patty's off to the races by 4 car lengths. The battle will be behind him. Rasick working up the racetrack. Trying to hit his entry point, get his exit. He's really working up, and he's going to turn Irizarry. Irizarry goes around Hayden, Rasick, Watkins, Strader, and another multi-car incident right after the first one. And so right back under caution on lap 9. Let's go back and take a look at this one the same way as we did the last one. You're going to kind of see Rasick work up the racetrack once. And the second time he does it, he just clips Irizarry wrong. Irizarry actually clips him back across into Watkins and Strader. And there you see Matt Hayden getting into it as well. They may have wrecked actually further up. They did. Rasick got Harold Rothery as well. So there was a little bit more to that one than I thought initially. Go back and take another look and again kind of try to break down what exactly goes on with Rasick here. His car pushes tight, but I think what happens here, let's go way back. Let's watch him enter the corner. I think what happens here is Rasick's on old tires. Now granted, they're only 5 or 6 laps older than the guys behind him, and that's if those guys took tires, but Rasick's trying to keep his foot in it. He wants the track position. He kind of works up once. I thought they made contact there. It does not look like they did. And I think he's just got his foot in it. We may go on board to verify this, but I think he's just got his foot in it trying to keep the track position. And well, or does Irizarry kind of cut left? Man, I called that one wrong. The first time I saw that, I thought that Steven Rasick had just worked his way up the racetrack and clipped Irizarry. To me, on that second look, I think Irizarry cuts left. And it's not egregious in the extent that he's not driving down to hit Steven Rasick. That's obviously not his goal right there. What he's doing is trying to just cut it off the corner. We do a very similar thing at Bristol, where you kind of diamond the corner, you let the car roll, and then you drive it as straight off of the corner as you possibly can. That, I think, was what Irizarry was going for there, and unfortunately, it just doesn't quite work for him. And when he tries to cut down, Rasick is a little bit higher than maybe he anticipated, and then gets into him. We'll go on board with Rasick. I do want to verify real quick that he's not in the gas still, but I think Irizarry just kind of comes down across the nose. Let's see right here. Oh, yeah. That's about as plain as it gets. Rasick's not really in the gas that hard. Irizarry jams the throttle and turns it left, trying to cut off the corner, and just makes a little bit of contact with Rasick, and then it is on from there. Several cars involved. It looks like Strader and Watkins got away relatively unscathed, as did Matt Hayden. The cars behind them, they got involved not so much. Rothery still on pit road. Mike Martino already 1 lap down. Irizarry going to start nearly last. As the green flag's back out, let's try this again on lap 13. Paddy off to the races in front of Watkins. Out back of them is where the battling will begin. Strader looking for second on Watkins. Catrone has settled into 4th. Then it's the battle for 5th. That's got my attention right now. Fitzmaurice on the outside. Beauchamp on the inside. Beauchamp going to drive forward to a top 5 position. Velocity trying to come with him. And then Matt Hayden trying to recover from being halfway involved in that incident a moment ago. Trying to follow through on the inside as well. We'll keep it here in the battle for 5th. Pay attention to the timing on the left side of your screen. We'll keep an eye on that gap to the leader as well. Pass behind Beauchamp. That's actually going to be for 6th. John Velocity coming forward. Matt Hayden coming forward. Cody Eldred is 9th after his early trouble in the 34. So some cars facing some early adversity, trying to work back from it. I did want to address the new look on Matt Hayden's car. A very interesting styling decision this week, shall we say. As Matt Hayden has gone away from Oakley and Pristine Auction and put the Barbie colors aboard that race car today. And that's all I have to say about that. Battle continues here for 7th. This is Hayden on the inside. He's going to cede the spot actually to Fitzmaurice there. So really a ton of battling going on the Speedway right now. You see it's mostly kind of single filed out most of the way through, all the way through the field as single file here on lap 16. So a green flag run potentially is beginning. Everybody last time by the way, ran their fastest laps of the race, so safe to say everybody's worn in the racetrack now, and let's go up here. Battle for second is beginning. Watkins under fire from the man trying to recover from missing a couple of races. Strader, remember, is the winningest driver in the series in this second season. Because he's missed a couple races, he has dropped to 5th in the standings. But he's the only driver, one of 2 with 3 wins. He's the only playoff eligible driver at this point in time that has 3 wins. And that should have completely given away who the other driver is with 3 wins. Ryan Patty in the 30. Strader's wins coming earlier in the season at Chicago. And a couple of other tracks that are fading from my mind right now. Battle for second continues. Strader going to try to get the spot here off turn number 4. To correct myself, Strader's wins the Chicago Street Course, Dover, and Indianapolis races 2, 4, and 5. Just to correct myself from earlier. Patty's 3 wins. Almost 3 in a row. Watkins Glen, Richmond, and I believe Darlington. I'm having a really hard time keeping my voice intact, and I'm trying my best. But it is not cooperating super well with me right now. We're going to keep on chugging along, though. Bit of a hornet's nest back here. John Velocity's worked up to the 5th position around Beauchamp. Matt Hayden finally got around Jimmy Fitzmaurice. Hayden, a winner at New Hampshire in the OP Racing Throwback Series a while back that I used to broadcast. Of course, that was not a race that I got to broadcast, but he has won here. Looking underneath Beauchamp, that is for 6th. As his comeback trail continues. We continue to watch this battle back here. Ryan Patty, by the way, has opened up a 1-second lead over the remainder of the field as of now. Now, Harold Watkins running him down just a little bit here. We'll keep an eye on that. Hayden through to 6th ahead of Beauchamp, and now we'll try for 5th on John Velocity. James Catrone having a good run. He's in the 8th position in the points standings tonight. Catrone only 14 points back of Matt Hayden for the 7th spot in the points. 17 back of Rusty Modesty, who is not in attendance tonight. So very well that Catrone could pick up another spot in the points. Travis Everett is also not here tonight. So a couple drivers that could pick up some spots in the points if things go right for them tonight. Continue to watch Hayden and Velocity as that battle up front starts to materialize just a little bit. It's down to half a second, Patty and Watkins. As Matt Hayden beats on the back bumper of the Fuel Fest Chevy, trying to get the 5th spot. He may get it right here. He got a big run there off turn 4. Not enough to get to the inside, though. He'll have to back it up, try it again in turn 1. 13 laps to go, stage 1. 126 laps to go in the race, and I think Velocity is going to cede the spot here down the backstretch. Hayden goes by. That's for 5th. Matt Hayden on the comeback trail. Up here, battle for 2nd. Here comes Strader again to the inside of Watkins. These two have shared so many battles over the last 8 months or so. Trying to share another one here as both of them chase Ryan Patty for the lead. Strader now hounding Watkins for 2nd. One car coming off pit road, that is Martino. He is now 2 laps down to the race leaders. So we continue to watch this battle. Really nothing on the racetrack. See on the left side of your screen, everybody is really spaced out besides kind of this group of cars right here. So we'll keep it up here for a moment. As Watkins continues to try to hold on to 2nd away from Christian Strader. Patty driving away just a little bit again. Watkins starting to drive away from Strader. Patty starting to drive away from Watkins. No real battles taking place on the speedway right now. Best car on track last time by was Ryan Patty by 2/10. Next time by 8 laps to go in stage number 1. And it's been all the DeWalt Chevy so far. Fitting, I suppose. The DeWalt car is leading the race and doing so by a healthy margin. Christopher Bell, of course, has kind of become one of the modern kings of New Hampshire. So it's fitting that DeWalt, one of his sponsors, runs up front right now in this race at New Hampshire. In this case with Ryan Patty. Now 6 laps to go in stage 1. Patty continues to run just under 30-second laps. No one else in the field at this point is running in the 29s. By the way, there was just a battle. You see it there at the kind of tail end of that camera view. Matt Hayden's up to 4th. So the comeback trail continues for Matt Hayden. That time, Hayden was the fastest car on track. So perhaps something here for the 5. Harold Rothery going to try to stay on the lead lap. Coming back to 4 laps to go in stage 1. We have settled nicely into a rhythm here. Rothery, it's going to be hard pressed, I think, to stay on the lead lap. Patty is right on his bumper. Let's see if he forces the issue here. To the inside, he will put him 1 lap down. Again, another lap where Matt Hayden was the fastest car on New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Interesting to keep an eye on for later, and that battle for 3rd starts to materialize here. As he has made it all the way to the back bumper of Christian Strader here. So here comes Matt Hayden trying to get on the podium and then maybe make something happen after the stage break. Now that he's kind of back in this thing, Strader's going to let him go. Hayden slides up and takes the spot, coming back to 2 laps to go in stage 1. So Hayden now in a really good position to get some stage points. Really, unless he can get to Watkins, pretty much going to conclude the battling here in this first stage. Everybody's kind of spread out from one another. Ryan Patty's getting really tight when he runs the bottom. It's costing him some time over here in turn 4. Last lap, stage number 1. What else is new, I suppose, should be the question. 3 out of his first 4 starts in the series were wins. He took a couple weeks off from Victory Lane anyway, and is looking right back in prime form. To the stage checkered flag, Ryan Patty completes another wire-to-wire stage and wins stage 1 at New Hampshire. The other drivers picking up stage points going to be Harold Watkins, Matt Hayden, Christian Strader, and John Velocity. 5 cars getting the stage points. Ryan Patty wins stage number 1 as this one got into a bit of a green flag rhythm. What we're going to do now is pit stops are about to get underway. You will see every moment. We're going to go PGR side by side. Take a quick break, hopefully the only one of the night from Loudon, New Hampshire. You're watching the Challenger Cup Series race number 13 in Loudon. We'll be right back after these messages.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing. Three by 3. Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. Hard into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We will run! We will run! Ladies and gentlemen, the
The monkey has prime!
this season, we are hydrated!
The official sports drink of the UFC. It's on!
Oh, that's good.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point. Make you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Getting ready to go back to green. Welcome back to New Hampshire as we prepare you for the race start and the conclusion of tonight's race from Loudon. James Catrone stays out, or rather came to pit road and did a little bit of different service to inherit the lead. Green flag, 109 laps to go at New Hampshire, and it's Catrone off to the races. For the first time tonight, someone not named Ryan Patty is leading the race. Patty's going to get caught as Catrone worked way up the racetrack. Patty able to drive it off turn 2. Matt Hayden's going to be alongside him for the lead. Watkins trying to get Catrone for third as these two will battle in turn 3. Hayden on the inside, Patty on the outside. Which line will prevail? Who's willing to use more tire off turn 4? 108 laps to go. Patty at the line by half a car length over Matt Hayden, who continues to try to run the bottom lane. Not going to be prevailing for him right now. Ryan Patty drives hard around the outside, and off turn 2 will grab the lead back at New Hampshire. But a bit of a scary moment there for the Ryan Patty machine as he had to deal with some adversity in the form of James Catrone kind of working up the racetrack, getting tight right in front of him. But he gets by and moves away with the lead. So 107 laps to go. We're closing in on the 100 to go mark. Ryan Patty continues to lead the way, but Matt Hayden's not letting him get away here. Now, here's the thing. How much is Ryan Patty saving? How much is Matt Hayden burning? We don't know. We're not inside these race cars. We'll be able to know pretty quick into this run, though, how much Hayden is going to try to burn to stay with the 30 of Ryan Patty, or if he's just got the raw speed to stay with him. Again, Hayden, this is a track he enjoys. And a track he's gotten wins at in other series before, so no surprise he's running up front. He's taking it to Ryan Patty right now, being the best challenge that Patty's had all day to this point. Watkins has cycled to third, Velocity up to fourth, then Strader fifth. And then Fitzmaurice, Catrone, Eldred Carlson, and Rothery is your top 10, but the battle for the lead continues. Matt Hayden's not giving it to him here. He's trying to poke his nose, see where he can find some air, see where he can find a little bit more turn. To be able to get to the inside of Patty for the lead, he's going to get the wall right there, though. Gap opens up to a car length and a half. So work back into turn 1. Three wide back here around, I want to say it was Cody Eldred. It's not, it's actually Hunter Carlson. They're three wide back there, though. Tell you what, the called went awry for James Catrone in a hurry, as he has dropped from the lead to the 11th position here off turn number 4. More cars coming behind him. This did not work for James Catrone on old tires. Meanwhile, up front, the battle continues. Hayden continues to try to find a way, a way around Ryan Patty. No cigar quite yet. 102 laps to go at the line, and now Patty pulls ahead by 5 car lengths. Patty starts to pull away from Matt Hayden, who may very well have burned his equipment trying to get there. Battle is on, though, for third. Watkins and Strader have been basically attached at the hip in this race, as they both continue to go at it back here for third. About a third of the way through this one right now. Work off turn 4 down to the start-finish line. 100 laps to go. Ryan Patty continues to lead the way over Matt Hayden, Harold Watkins, Christian Strader, and John Velocity. Jimmy Fitzmaurice, great run for the 33 right now, back in 6th. But trouble on the racetrack is going to draw the caution flag, and it's James Catrone in the 38. I believe there's one other car involved in this. Oh, it's actually going to be Hunter Carlson up in front of Catrone. So let's see what happened up here. Oh, my. Whoa. And Carlson, goodness, just annihilates the outside wall. And Catrone, I mean, you can see his front tires are locked right there. Nowhere he can go. Andrew Little skates by, but good grief. I mean, look at the damage on that car. Let's try to get a better look at it here. What in the world happens down here in turn 1? Oh, man. Oh, the engine expired on the 32. That may very well be his night, but, man, some contact with Brandon Beauchamp, and goodness, that's a big hit. Take one more look at it. Oh. Boy. It's a big hit there. Drivers on pit road. Matt Hayden, Jimmy Fitzmaurice, and Harold Rothery actually stay out here to inherit the lead. So that'll be your top 3. I'm going to do a little bit of a camera refresh here, see if we can't get you some more camera angles. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hit another really quick break. You actually will not see the screen this time, but we'll make it as quick as possible. We'll come right back, bring you more action for the Magic Mile. Stay with us. PGR coverage of the Challenger Cup Series. We'll be right back.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing.
Three by three.
Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. Hard into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it at the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
Welcome back to Loudon, New Hampshire, as we continue on with this one. A couple new camera angles for you. Spice things up. 96 to go at Loudon. Again, the top 3 stayed out. Ryan Patty, the first car to come to pit road. I do not know if he took a set of tires. We're going to find out pretty quick. Green flag. Hayden off to the races. Patty stuck behind Fitzmaurice. He's going to try to split the gap. That was bold with Fitzmaurice hanging to his right rear. He gets the spot on Fitzmaurice, though, but now has to go to work on Harold Rothery, and another bad position for Ryan Patty, although he's going to make quick work of Rothery in turn 3, we think. Has to kind of hang to his inside, though, and is going to lose a little bit of time because of it. Matt Hayden leading some laps in Loudon tonight. Patty not able to get the spot. Getting held back here by Harold Rothery, and this is danger zone for Ryan Patty as Hayden starts to drive away just a little bit. Rothery on the outside of Patty. That is the battle for second right behind the leader. Behind them, Jimmy Fitzmaurice and Christian Schrader are right on the back bumper of these two battling for second. Looks like Rothery, I thought, was going to let Patty go. Does not. Hangs on his right rear. Continues to hold him up. The gap almost a second now. Now Ryan Patty gets the spot, but now he's 9/10 back. Fitzmaurice in the wall behind them. And now Ryan Patty's got to really work to get back to Matt Hayden. He's got to burn some tires. to get back to Matt Hayden and retake the lead. 93 laps to go. Halfway tonight, right about lap 76. It's about 17 laps from right now. Strader underneath Rothery, that's for third. Watkins is pinned all the way back in sixth. Velocity, Irizarry, Eldred, Beauchamp, rest of the top 10. So Irizarry's comeback trail is on. He's back up to 8th. Only -2 net on the night. Down to turn 3. Next time by 91 laps to go. Now, only a 40% fuel run, but we have yet to get to that number under green in this race. So we don't really know at this point what a full run looks like on a tank of fuel tonight. Patty's cut the gap down to half a second here in turn 3, so he is closing. But now you could ask arguably the same question as you did just a moment ago. So look over here at the gap in turns 1 and 2. You see those two right there. You could ask the same question, though, that we did just a moment ago. How much is Matt Hayden saving now because he's in an advantageous position? Is he saving some of his tires? Is Patty the one burning his equipment up? We'll have to wait and see. But as soon as we say that, as soon as I'm looking at my timing and scoring, we got another caution flag. This one's for Cody Eldred. Go back here. 34 is running towards the tail end of the field back here with Brandon Beauchamp. And into the corner, Beauchamp works his way up, clips the left rear of Eldred, sends him around and into the outside wall. We'll take one more look. This is a pretty simple. We've kind of seen this already tonight. Let's take one more look. We'll now head back up front as Eldred goes for a slide, gets the outside wall. 6 cars down the racetrack here. Hayden, Patty, Strader, Watkins, Velocity, and Irizarry. Take an opportunity here under the caution flag. Tell you where we're going from here. Kind of get you primed for the playoffs. Next Tuesday night will be the regular season finale. We will lock in the playoff field. I'm going to get some answers either tonight or during the week as to who officially is going to be eligible for playoff racing. We'll lock in that field next week. We'll get you ready for the postseason. Then it's 5 weeks of postseason racing for this season and then a 6th for the kind of calendar year as a whole. So Kansas next week, 120 laps at Kansas will wrap up our regular season. The round of 16 will be contested over 2 races. Tuesday, October the 7th, will be at the Charlotte Roval. Tuesday, October the 14th, will be at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We'll eliminate 8 drivers at Las Vegas. Then we'll go to Talladega Super Speedway on October the 21st. The week after that, October the 28th, we'll head to Martinsville Raceway in Martinsville, Virginia. That will set our championship for 200 laps there at Martinsville. We'll set the championship for on November 4th. Phoenix Raceway plays host to the Season 2 Championship 4. And then Tuesday, November the 11th, a special extra race. It'll be all of the Final Four. It'll be the Final Four from both Season 1 and Season 2. Duking it out for 140 laps at the old version of Atlanta, the Tire Grinder, to see who is going to be named the calendar year champion for Challenger Cup Series Racing. I'm calling it the Challenger Cup Series Grand Championship. That'll be at Atlanta on November the 11th, the old Atlanta Motor Speedway. So Only 7 races to go, counting that Atlanta race. It's really coming down to it already. Green flag, going to go back in the air here at Loudon. No, Patty doesn't go. Problem on the 30. Ryan Patty has a problem. He did not go on the restart. I'm not sure exactly what the issue was, and he is now logged in the 11th position. Oh boy, changed the storyline for this race as Ryan Patty sees adversity for the first time tonight really at New Hampshire. He's going to have to work his way now forward. He's going to be in the middle of 4 wide here in turn 4. Not a great idea. And he's almost going to get crashed. Eldred, Rothery come together as Ryan Patty went through the hole. He's back up to 8th for now, but has to work his way through some fast cars to get back to the race leaders. What a tough break for Ryan Patty. Led almost every lap of this race. Got a bad restart. Not sure what happened there. And is now logged in dirty air and traffic. So now the opportunity, the window is open for Matt Hayden, who I think is the second fastest car in New Hampshire, maybe to get something done. Now, the race is far from over. There are still 84 laps to go. At least 1, probably 2 pit stops still to be made. So, race is not over yet for Ryan Patty, but it is certainly now a really tough task. Look at the cars he has to pass. Velocity, the defending champ. Christian Strader was the points leader for much of this season. Catrone has run top 5 all season long, it feels like. Jimmy Fitzmaurice is having a really great run up in 4th. Then GT Irizarry, who I think is one of the hardest cars in the league to pass. And Harold Watkins, who's only going to get faster as the run goes on. So Ryan Patty's got his work cut out. He's gotten by velocity already. Next up is Christian Strader, who's had second place speed all day. We'll see how quick of work he can make there. Battles on for second. GT Irizarry, after the early incident for the 14, has worked his way back up to a battle for second. With the Harold Watkins machine here in turn 1, they'll go side by side. And he will get the spot from Watkins for now. Watkins trying to fight back on the outside as Jimmy Fitzmaurice has worked into this. How about the speed out of Fitzmaurice? A ton of speed trouble. Watkins gets clipped, but saves it. Boy, that was almost disaster. That was right in front of Ryan Patty, by the way, who's battling Christian Strader for 5th. They both got by Catrone. So Ryan Patty's back up to the 5th position. He's gotten by Strader as well. Next up is Watkins. He can't spend too much time in dirty air. Hayden needs to be trying to drive away. As of now, 80 laps to go. Patty is running a 29.76. Hayden ran a 29.74. Not equal. Patty stuck in the midst of some really bad air, though, back here around Harold Watkins. Just not much space to go around. Closing in on halfway. Oh, Fitzmaurice entered too deep, rolls way up the speedway. He's going to carry the speed here off turn 2 and keep his spot for now, but could have had Irizarry there for second and just entered in weird and kind of rolled up the racetrack. Hayden by 0.6 over GT Irizarry. This battle continues. Jimmy Fitzmaurice is not going away here. Ryan Patty's up in the back bumper of Watkins for 4th, but again, that's going to be a really tough pass to make. Unless Watkins kind of just lets him go, which, man, it appears he just did. But he crosses back over. Fitzmaurice gets the wall, so he'll drop off Irizarry. Patty going to try to run the outside on Watkins, who crossed him over off turn 2. And it will not be successful, it didn't look like. But he's trying to keep the left rear, not going to work. Patty up to 4th. He's gained a second of it back. But again, he's got a couple good race cars in front of him. He still has to pass. Last time by looking at lap times, Hayden 29.78, Patty 29.88. Trying to get back in the fight is Ryan Patty. Underneath Fitzmaurice, that's for 3rd. At the line, let's check lap times again. Go back and watch this battle. 30.02 for Hayden, 29.74 for Ryan Patty. So he's closing. We'll keep an eye on Patty. Obviously got to keep in mind he can't shred his tires either, trying to get to Matt Hayden, and now he's run really hard, and he's kind of running the bottom of the racetrack, and you know what? He's losing a little bit of time. Not much. Gains a little bit here down the backstretch, but a little. Keeping an eye again on Ryan Patty, trying to keep up with the leader, Matt Hayden, after a bad restart a moment ago on the last start. Not sure what happened on the inside of the front row, but just did not go and has had to work his way back up from the 11th position. Is up to 3rd and continues to work his way forward. We continue to see the advance from him, but he's kind of stalled out. And what happened to Matt Hayden? He's on pit road. So my answer about pit stops is they're going to happen now. Again, I'm looking at timing and scoring while I'm, trying to do a few things at once. Didn't even see Matt Hayden make the dive to pit road. Let's see if these guys do it now too. It's a really interesting time for Matt Hayden to be making a pit stop. Leaders bypass it. Really no one else has made this stop yet, so I'm not sure what Matt Hayden sees. There is a significant amount of fall off, so I'm wondering if he's just wanting to undercut in order to get some track position here early run, but I'm curious to see when these guys behind him now are going to pit. That was really early, so we'll obviously continue to monitor these guys back here and see when everybody else decides to start the cycle. Patty inherits the lead, and he's driving away. I'm really curious here, the lap time differential. Matt Hayden right now, he hasn't run a lap back on the racetrack yet, so he ran one earlier, but it was his out lap, so I'm kind of... It is 0.6 faster than what the leader, Ryan Patty, is running right now. Ryan Patty's running a 30 flat. Hayden just ran a 29.49. So what I'm wondering is if he's going early run just to try to get way out front. We've seen this work before. He just went faster. Matt Hayden just ran his best lap of the race. A 30 flat for Patty, a 29.46 for Matt Hayden, who is absolutely flying right now and is picking up the delta. Stephen Luttrell's come to pit road as well. This is going to be really interesting because Matt Hayden is running his best laps of the night, with still 66 to go next time by, and these guys haven't made a pit stop. They're running status quo 30-second laps. Matt Hayden's running 29.4s. It's tailed off just a little. That time a 29.51 for Matt Hayden, but a 30.01 for Patty, and I'll bet this one's slower. It was a 30.15. Now, where does Matt Hayden run his next lap? 29.42. He went faster again. He's consistently 6 to 7 tenths of a second quicker. Steven Rasick has come to pit road in the 21. Nobody else has yet made this pit stop. And this is quickly turning into one of the most intriguing races of the season just because of the pit strategy. Andrew Little's brought his car to pit road. So he's on pit road on lap 87. Let's take another look at lap times. Ryan Patty, 30.14. Matt Hayden, 29.51. 6 tenths faster than the race leader. He has picked up 2.5 seconds of time. Remember, when he came to pit road, he was a second out front of Ryan Patty. Arguably, he's going to pick up about it if this continues to cycle. Now, the tires will equalize, but just what he's picking up earlier on, and obviously Patty on newer tires later is going to pick some of this back up. But there's a decent chance Matt Hayden could come out of this thing with a 5.5, 6 second lead. And will Patty have the equipment? Will he have the tires to run that down on what's going to be a little shorter run? Now, my other question is going to be for Matt Hayden, can you make it to the end, or will you have to make an extra stop, or does everyone have to make an extra stop? And in that case, how does that play out? Who takes fuel only on the last pit stop? Who takes 2 tires? Patty continues to lead by 1.5 seconds. Hayden's up to 10th. Here's the lap times now. 30.27. For Ryan Patty, 29.69 for Matt Hayden. It's starting to come back to earth, but it's still 0.5 seconds faster. Luttrell has picked up time on Ryan Patty. And they've picked up 3.5, 4 seconds. That time by slower for Hayden, 29.79, but slower for Patty, 30.39. Still 6 tenths quicker, and Hayden continues to pick up a ton of time. Here comes Patty. He's going to make his pit stop right here. Irizarry's going to come with him. Watkins comes to pit road. Strader, Velocity. 2 cars stay out. Fitzmaurice and Catrone. Let's see if Rothery and Eldred follow those guys to pit road. They will not. Rothery is going to stay out. Eldred is also going to stay out. Now's going to be the interesting part. Where is Matt Hayden compared to Ryan Patty? He's going down the backstretch right now. Patty's up on the jack. And he has not left his box. He's going to make a 4-tire stop. Here comes Matt Hayden. Patty rolls off pit road. Will Hayden bypass him on pit road? Boy, it's actually not going to be as close as I thought. Ryan Patty somehow inherits the lead. I have no idea how. But he's actually well in front of Matt Hayden. So much for that. Keep an eye on the guys that haven't pit. Fitzmaurice, Catrone, Rothery, Eldred, Watkins, Fitzmaurice, Catrone, Rothery, Eldred, the guys that haven't pit. Actually, upon a second look, Harold Watkins is going to be the better off on this strategy because he has come off pit road in front of Ryan Petty. Keep an eye on that as well. "56 laps to go for Jimmy Fitzmaurice right here as he continues to lead. Now, he does have to make a pit stop. But as of now, is the race leader with 56 laps to go. Continue to watch the pit cycle. 3-4 cars that have not pitted. Fitzmaurice, Catrone, Rothery, and Cody Eldred are the cars that have not yet come to pit road. Not sure how I missed it that bad on short pitting for Matt Hayden. I thought for sure that was going to work way better than it did. Not particularly sure why it didn't. Fitzmaurice is going to come to pit road right here. Catrone, I think, is going to come with him. Rothery, does he make the move? He's going to try to get the point. I don't think he's going to pass both cars. I stand corrected. Closing in on 50 laps to go. 2 cars that have not pitted, Rothery and Eldred. And that just did not work for Matt Hayden and company. I'm not particularly sure why. Keep an eye on this battle. This is for the provisional lead. Those 2 cars still leading the race. Obviously are going to stay out and try to hope for a caution flag, but this is the battle potentially for the provisional lead, and it could be the win. We'll see. Obviously still about 51, 52 laps to go at the line. Here it is, Patty to the inside of Watkins. Watkins ran him down. They're going to be side by side off turn 4. Rothery on pit road. Eldred, the only car now that has not been to pit road. Some contact between Patty and Watkins, but Ryan Patty gets the spot and drives on by, and that might be all she wrote as Eldred comes to the pit lane. Christian Strader has gotten by Matt Hayden for 3rd. Go back there and take a look at what's going on back here. So Strader has gotten by for the 3rd position. I was kind of curious how those guys that pit late would fare. Not great so far, although they're still having pretty good runs, but they need to pick it up late run if they want to regain the position that they had. Stephen Luttrell running down Matt Hayden. I'm not sure what Matt Hayden did different on this pit stop, unless he just burned those tires off way quicker, but He has dropped to 4th. He's about to lose that to Luttrell, and then Velocity is not far behind them either. And then a bit of a buffer out back from that. At the line, it'll be 47 laps to go into the closing stages here at New Hampshire. We're unsure at this point if we're going to have another pit stop. We will have to wait and see on that. The line will be 45 to go. Hayden driving away from Luttrell now, so this battle has evaporated. Really not one on the racetrack at this point. That is, remember, well, the lead is 3 seconds. Ryan Patty continues to cruise to another victory in the Challenger Cup Series. It would be his 4th of the year. His 3rd on one of these interesting, unique ovals. He won Richmond, he won Darlington, and of course, on track to now win New Hampshire. It's going to be really interesting. By the letter of the rule, Ryan Patty's not going to run enough starts to be a playoff car, but there are a number of cars in and around the playoff positions that have not made enough starts. In fact, several above Ryan Patty will not make the required amount of starts and actually will make less starts than Patty does. So it will be very interesting to see if there's some kind of exception to let not just Ryan Patty, there's a couple drivers into the playoffs that have actually made the starts to be in the postseason. We're going to have to wait and see. I'll try to get some clarification on that going forward into next week. But it's going to be really interesting to me to see how race control and the admin group here in Challenger Cup Series handles that situation. There was a battle shaping up back here. Looks like Luttrell has started to drive away for the time being. John Velocity was starting to run down Stephen Luttrell. We'll keep it here for a moment. 41 laps to go. Lead is up to 4.5 seconds for Ryan Patty. If you're just joining us, it has been the Ryan Patty Show for much of the race. Some adversity earlier on a restart. Had to drive back through the field. Has done so. And has retaken the lead on lap 113. There are really no battles to speak of. Luttrell is driven away from Velocity. Hayden's driving away from Luttrell. Strader's driving away from Hayden. Not a ton of battling going on the speedway right now. 38 laps to go. We're kind of into that lull period. The only question mark remaining is whether or not drivers are going to have to make another set of green flag pit stops I'm not positive. There was only a 40% fuel tank tonight, so I'm curious to see if these guys are going to have to make another stop. If they're all going to be good to go to the end of the race. Patty extending the lead. It's up almost to 6 seconds. Battle for 5th. Velocity ahead of James Catrone. Catrone, of course, in that group that pit later. Has found a little bit of speed under this car on this run. This is about to be a 3-car battle, Luttrell, Velocity, and Catrone. But Catrone putting the heat on the 84 first. Patty gets back around to the line. It will be 34 laps to go. Something's happened to Matt Hayden. And his night is over. I don't normally do this under green, but we really don't have anything going on the racetrack. Let's go back quickly. What happened to Matt Hayden? Spun it, got the wall, and just towed it to pit road. Man, what a weird set of circumstances. For a car that was on the verge of finishing 4th, what a horrible way for his night to end. Meanwhile, Steven Luttrell is coming to pit road, and what that tells me is I think we're going to have to make another stop. Now, it's going to be really interesting on the group with Ryan Patty to pit later if they have to make another stop. I can't recall how many laps it was between them. Now it's going to be really interesting to see, do they have to make another stop? Does everybody get on and off pit road? Jimmy Fitzmaurice is on pit road. By the way, Mike Martino, Hunter Carlson also out of tonight's race. Stephen Racing is 2 laps down. Andrew Little and GT Irizarry went a lap down on that pit cycle. Cody Eldridge just went a lap down under green. Plenty of gap to work with here for Ryan Patty with this 30 to go. Not really in any danger of losing any positions here. So he'll just continue to log some laps. Try to get to the end of tonight's race. A couple more cars coming to pit road. Rothery and Andrew Little will come to pit road. That's going to put Little 2 laps down. I believe Rothery 2 laps down as well. Ryan Patty down to the final 27 1/4 laps here at New Hampshire. We await a potential final pit stop. Brandon Beauchamp is on pit road. Christian Strader has also made a pit stop. We now just await these top 4 cars, at least from the lead lap cars. Patty, now Watkins is going to come to pit road. And that would signal to me that Ryan Patty is going to come here pretty quickly. John Velocity, James Catrone staying out for now. Let's see if Patty comes down this time. Shaded low like he was going to, and will here on lap 125. Problems for Brandon Beauchamp. He's able to get it back going. John Velocity will inherit the race lead. As Patty continues to work on that car on the pit lane. Up on the jack. And he's off the jack and away we go. Watkins, not even going to really get close. Actually going to get closer than I anticipated, but still going to be behind the Ryan Patty machine by 3 seconds. Velocity will pit here with 25 to go. James Catrone will stay out. Catrone still going to stay out here, open for a caution, obviously. As Watkins tries to throw everything he can at Ryan Patty. Out behind this. We're keeping an eye on Catrone, though. And Cody Eldred is the other car that stayed out, but he's about to be bypassed by Patty and Watkins here, so. Continue to take off laps. Again, James Catrone is your race leader with 22 to go, but he and the 34 Cody Eldred have not pit on this final cycle. Remember, Catrone and Eldred were both 2 of those cars that pitted way later in the run than everybody else on our last green flag cycle. And Catrone's going to bring it in right here. So Catrone makes his pit stop. Eldred has been bypassed by Patty. Come around and put 21 to go on the board. So Ryan Patty well on the way here to win number 4. And again, the question will be, will there be some kind of exception made for the 30 to be playoff eligible? Or will he be forced to run without the stipulation of running for points? Who be careful there with Jimmy Fitzmaurice, but Patty navigates it okay. Now the question becomes, will there be some kind of exception made for drivers like Ryan Patty who have made more starts. Maybe just are going to come up just short of that 66% number. So we'll have to wait and see. Right now, though, all he cares about is these last 18 laps. 18 miles to go at New Hampshire. Really only one position I think that's going to be contested here in this final 17 laps. It's going to be the 4th position with Luttrell, if that's Velocity can get there. Of course, Luttrell pitted early, Velocity pit a bit later, so a bit of a tire disparity. We'll see if Velocity can get there with 16 to go. Seems to be the only position, barring a caution, that will be contested in this final 16 laps. It has not been the night that Andrew Little wanted. Remember a week ago, he left Bristol second in the points right behind Harold Watkins. He is going to lose ground in that fight this week. He's 33 points back. GT Ozirian hasn't been much better for him. Travis Everett not here. Strader running third will gain some ground back, so likely that Christian Strader is going to head to Kansas third or better in the points. Modesty not here, so Matt Aiden likely to gain at least a spot, if not 2. James Catrone stands to potentially profit tonight. Luttrell going to pick up a gap here between himself and Eldred and the rest of the field behind him, so a much-needed night there. Then you get into the questionable, kind of, are they going to be able to playoff race drivers? Nick Seipel, we haven't seen in several weeks. He's 16th in the points right now. He'll make enough starts. So will John Velocity. It won't be by much. In fact, it may not be at all. It's only going to be 9 out of 14. I'm not sure that's enough. That's not quite 66% either. So some questions about Velocity and Seipel. Rothery is the 17th car in points. He will make enough starts. He'll make his 11th start next week. Racek will be short. Martino will be short. Carlson will be short. Fitzmaurice will be short. We're going to have to see what kind of exceptions Race Control makes headed into the playoffs here in a couple weeks. When they get back, it will be 10 to go. We are going to go take a quick look back here at the battle that's developing for 4th. It's actually going to be 3 cars. Luttrell, Velocity, and Catrone, and this could be a big point. For one of these cars, I think probably the biggest at this point is Velocity in terms of banking his points, being 15th in the standings. Really has to continue to bank some points. He's going to try to get it here off Luttrell, off turn 4. 10 laps to go for Patty. 9 at the line. We'll continue to watch this battle for the moment. Velocity to the inside. Gets the spot. Catrone trying to make it 2 for 1. Tried to clear up, could not. So Catrone makes it 2 for 1. Now Catrone's actually going to try to make it 2 for 1 with Velocity as well, trying to get 4th. We'll keep an eye here. Again, potentially a big point for either of these cars. Catrone to try to advance in the playoff standings. Velocity to try to make sure he banks enough points to guarantee a spot in the postseason. Big dive from Catrone here into turn 1. He wants to get this spot pretty badly. He'll drive up alongside Velocity, but the car gets out from underneath him, and he's got to lift out of the throttle here on the backstretch and reset. So with him resetting, that battle fizzles. We now head back up front. Tell you this, as he takes the 6 laps to go mark. I have not seen in a very long time a run at the beginning of a league career like we're seeing from Ryan Patty right now. The last couple weeks he kind of came back to earth just a little bit between Bristol and Gateway, but rattled off 3 wins in 4 races to start his career. It's going to be 4 wins in 7 if we can go the next 5 laps without a caution flag. And so get the 5 out the flag stand right here from Barney the Flag Man. 5 laps to go at the Magic Mile. And, you know, there's going to be questions flying this week and next week whether or not he should be eligible. Obviously, we have that 66% that was established, but it was kind of established mid-season. Does that stick? Does it get changed? Oh, that was close. Boy. Yeah, there will be some questions this week that we'll have to get answered about whether or not Patty should be in the playoffs. But, I mean, at this point, if you're the rest of the field, you have to be scared if he makes it in, because we go to some tracks that he could seriously be really good at. Phoenix, I mean, if he were to get to the Final Four, I mean, I would be horrified to be a driver on a flat, short oval. It's popsicle sticks this time by 2 laps to go. I would be horrified if he was in the championship 4 and I was any of the other 3 cars. From what we've seen on these unique and or flat racetracks, it's been astounding. This guy is nearly unstoppable. He's good on the short run. He's good on the long run. He's good on restarts. He's good at passing. He's good at playing defense. Drivers have yet to find his flaw other than the occasional cell phone mistake. Tonight, so far so good. White flag is up. 1 lap to go. The other races that he's won this season, he's dominated. It really hasn't been much adversity. This one had the most adversity. He had to drive through the field. He looked human, if only for a moment. And at the end of the day, he's once again going to prove he might as well be superhuman. Off turn 4, Ryan Patty does it again. 4th win of the season at New Hampshire. You almost have no words. And it seemed like I was a little bit light on words the back half of this race. It's just because that's what happens when this guy gets out front. There's just not much to say. For Ryan Patty, another just dominant win. So he will burn it down as he has earned the right to do. And we'll give him the opportunity to celebrate Ryan Patty once again, a Challenger Cup Series winner, this time at New Hampshire. So as he continues to celebrate, we'll go through your finishing results and then talk to your top three here from New Hampshire as Ryan Patty gets another victory on his Challenger Cup Series resume. It's Ryan Patty that gets the win over Harold Watkins in second, and Christian Strader, big-time return to the series for him tonight. He goes in third. John Velasquez needed it tonight. He's 15th in the points and needed a good run. He'll get a fourth-place finish. James Catrone in the fifth spot. Stephen Luttrell in sixth. Jimmy Fitzmaurice, great run for the 33 in seventh. Cody Eldred in 8th, Brandon Beauchamp in 9th, and JT Irizarry in 10th. Andrew Little goes 11th tonight with Stephen Rasick in 12th, Harold Rothery 13th, Matt Aiden in 14th, Hunter Carlson in 15th, and Mike Martino in 13th position. Or excuse me, in 16th position. Well, we continue to wait for the top three. I only see two of them as of right now, so we'll try to get all three of them lined up, ready to talk to you after this one here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And right as I say that, they are ready to go. So we will start the process here at New Hampshire of talking to your top three. Let's start first with a man who's back in the series tonight, coming off of a dominant start to the season. We haven't seen him in a little bit. He comes back, goes right back to form. At one point, looked like he could be a second-place car. He ends up slotting in third. I think you'll take that. If you're the driver of the 29, it's the Virginia Beach, Virginia driver, Christian Strader, who comes in the third spot in New Hampshire.
Second.
Christian, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
Hey, Dawson, how you doing?
Well, not too bad. Look, it's been a bit since we've seen you out here. Kind of wondered, coming back in tonight, kind of, cold compared to some of these guys in terms of being around this field, being in race trim here in Challenger competition, but did not look like you missed much of a beat. Third for you tonight at New Hampshire. Take me through what ended up being a pretty uneventful night for you in the 29.
That's how I felt about it. I felt like it was a pretty uneventful night. There wasn't much to it. I mean, it was tough to pass. There was a little bit of pit strategy, I guess. You kind of how the cautions fell. You were able to if you were able to run it a little bit long, you were able to make 2 stops and kind of stay on fresh tires. But other than that, I mean, there wasn't much going on. It felt like it was just kind of trying to catch the 3, trying to catch the 30. But I mean, I really felt like the cars kind of evened out. The 30 was definitely better, but it was just kind of hard to really make any moves or anything like that. The track was wide. There was a lot of places to go, but every lane was just same pace.
Well, look, still a good effort for you tonight, obviously, in the third position in your return to the series. Now, I obviously do want to ask, we have, unfortunately not seen you here in a couple weeks. You're still in a really good points position. Are you going to be running enough races to contend for a championship? Kind of tell me where this season goes from here for you.
I'm not really too sure yet. I've got some school stuff going on and everything since I went back and started taking night classes. So not 100% sure if we get in and have enough time to get all the races together and then make it in on points and kind of point my way through. That would be the best for me. I feel like that's probably what my strong suit is going out, getting a good finish, making a good run, and kind of being consistent versus just always kind of getting up front and winning. Just more so just playing to have a calm night. But if not, and I miss a few races, I feel like there's speed's there to hopefully get a couple wins and try to advance my way through. So feel good going into it. So we get a little road course racing, and that's a pretty good strong suit for me.
Tonight, though, third for you at Loudon. So as we head forward here, one race to go in the regular season, and you're kind of back on track momentum-wise. So before we let you go and enjoy the third-place finish, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, just thank you to you for putting on the broadcast and doing a great job in the booth, and then Andrew and Rusty and everybody for putting things together over here. And then just to Copperhead Racing and all the teammates over there.
I appreciate you for talking to me here for a second. Congratulations on the third place finish. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, have a good one.
Christian Schrader, the 29's third place finisher tonight. From New Hampshire, we'll move now to the man who finished in the second spot. Will extend his points lead leaving New Hampshire. And with one race to go, is looking to go back-to-back on regular season championships. It's the three of Harold Watkins, your runner-up finisher from Loudon.
Yeah.
Harold, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, good run for you tonight again. You're going to leave here, obviously, as the points leader, headed into Kansas next week. I asked Christian about a pretty uneventful night. It felt kind of the same for a lot of you guys that ran towards the front of the field tonight. You know, obviously, towards the end there, we saw the pitch strategy coming in a little bit before Ryan. Is there anything else that you had for the 30? Kind of just tell me what you noticed maybe that he was doing that was different. If anything, maybe that you caught from your perspective in this race that maybe you kind of tried to pull off late.
Yeah, he just had a little bit higher entry than me, and he was able to make it turn a little bit better off center. I probably was running it in a little too deep and losing a little bit of speed in the middle, and I think that's where he was getting me. He's pretty much middle. He was able to maintain a little bit more speed and still be able to turn. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't anything I could do. He had something figured out that nobody else did, that's for sure. He was telling me that he loves this track. He lives by this track, so... I mean, overall, second place, not bad. I hate finishing second, but it's better than getting wrecked and finishing back in the pack.
Well, absolutely. Look, you're going to leave New Hampshire now. One race to go in the regular season at Kansas next week. It's a bit of a wild card in this car. It can be pretty chaotic. You're going to have a pretty big points lead, but it's not insurmountable. Kind of tell us through, take us through rather how you're game planning for that race specifically to try to come back as regular season champion for the second season in a row.
Yeah, just going to kind of run it like I did here tonight, try to get as many stage points as possible. We picked up 9 stage points, finishing second in the stage, so that's helpful. I'm going to try to do that again, try to get some bonus points, and honestly, I just need to qualify better. Since this tire update, it's been tough to really put down a good lap, and that's on me. I got to put in more work, or any work for that matter, and put myself in a better position kind of at the beginning of stage 1. Tonight I did that, qualified 5th, which was good enough to keep me in contention to get stage points, and so that's the plan next week, and just try to finish well. And I think as long as I'm up there in like the top 5, or I don't think I can be passed after a good points night tonight.
A good points night is right. Another runner-up finish, some more stage points. You talked about that as well, and heading to Kansas with a pretty significant points lead for the second season in a row. Before we let you go, though, do want to give you an opportunity on the way out the door. Is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, shout out to everyone at Challenger that makes this league work. I mean, it's a really great league because a lot of people kind of spread the work and make it easy on everybody. Thanks to you up in the booth. Looking forward to watching back this one. Thanks to everyone out there in this league. It's always a great time and in clean racing for the most part, so appreciate that. And just thanks to everyone out there watching, and shout out Ryan. I mean, he had something that no one else did, and it showed.
Well, congrats to you on the second place finish tonight. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll see you next week, the regular season finale in Kansas.
Thanks, Dawson.
Harold Watkins, second tonight at New Hampshire. We'll now move to the man in victory lane, the man who still has his car sitting out on New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We heard Harold talk about just a moment ago the significance potentially of this win for Ryan Patty, being close to this racetrack, potentially a hometown racetrack. So even better, you see there Boston, Massachusetts. So, yep, one of the home racetracks for Ryan this week, and goes out and gets a win. Got to feel pretty special. For the driver of the 30, Ryan Patty, the man in Challenger Cup Series victory lane for the 4th time this season. Ryan, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
I sure do. How we doing?
Well, look, not too bad, you know, and I mentioned it earlier in the race, about 5 laps to go. It is hard for me to remember a much better league career start than you have had. 4 wins and 7 starts to start your Challenger Cup Series career. This one at New Hampshire, it feels like you've just got something different on these either flat or just unique ovals. I talked earlier about Darlington. Obviously, we went to Richmond as well, and now a win here at the Magic Mile, New Hampshire. What is it about these tracks that you like specifically, or that your skill set lends itself to, it allows you to go to victory lane and really make it look easy?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I assure you it's not easy, but these flatter tracks where you have to finesse the car around it, I think really lend themselves to drivers that are good at modulating the throttle, finding as much rotation at the center of the corner, which is really, really hard at flatter tracks. And the ability to get the power down on exit, because finding forward bite, especially in this next gen, without losing it and looping it, is super, super difficult. That paired with finding the right combination for braking, because I don't know if you're aware or folks are aware that the fixed setups that we run here, you're really limited in what you can do to adjust the way the car handles. But brake bias is a tool that we can adjust. So for me, I try to hone that in during practice to get the car as balanced as possible. And, we had a bit of a push situation late in the runs here, so I tried to use the brake bias to get the car to rotate on entry. And just because of that, I was kind of on edge all night on entry. A couple times I almost lost the car entering turn 3, just trying to get a good entry to get the car to rotate. So I don't know if it looked easy or not, but it sure wasn't. Car was real difficult to drive all night. So I was just trying to stay focused and just stay away from everybody else and keep good lap times.
I did want to ask really quickly about the incident we saw in one of the race starts. You start up towards the front row, you get a really bad race start. It almost sent you back to outside the top 12 on the racetrack. You managed to drive back through the field, so no harm, no foul at the end of the night. But I did want to ask you, was it a missed shift? Was it a technical issue? Kind of take us through what happened there that was really the first sign of adversity that we saw out of you tonight.
Yeah, that was a bit of a panic moment. So I've got a new shifter that I hadn't used yet, and it's a sequential. So you're taking your hands off the wheel to shift on these restarts, and for whatever reason, as I let off the gas and tried to put it in from first to second, it just hung up in neutral, and then I had to wait till the revs died down to get it back in gear, and obviously by then about 3/4 of the field had passed me by. So we're still getting used to the shifter. Obviously, it's not easy shifting up and shifting down every lap, but I like the realism here, and just adds a little bit of immersion while we're doing the sim.
Well, look, another win for you. 4 wins in 7 starts, and I kind of want to talk about that start number. It goes up to 8 tonight, I think, either 7 or 8. It'll be 8 or 9 next week. There are several drivers in playoff positions with less starts. Obviously, we have understood what the rule was earlier in the season about eligibility, but I'm going to kind of ask you a unique question, and I haven't really ever done this before. Make a pitch as to why maybe there should be an exception and maybe you should be eligible for the playoffs here going forward. Do you feel like you should be playoff racing even though you may not get quite to that start threshold with some of the guys around you in the point standings just not running enough races?
Yeah, first and foremost, if there's guys in the league that have been running here longer than I have, the last thing I want to do is take their opportunity away. If they've been around and made more starts and had the commitment to the league, then by all means they should have a chance to run for the playoffs. For me, it's just a matter that I joined a little bit later. So like I said at the beginning when I first got in here, tried to show these guys that I'll race clean, race fair, they can know what to expect from me every week, and obviously coming in with some speed here, but more importantly, I want them to know that I'm not gonna ruin anyone's day. So if they see fit to get me in the playoffs here, I think I'm in 12th position in the points at this point. Hopefully that gets me in, but if not, we'll just go out and chase some checkers for the rest of the year and reset for next season.
Well, definitely doing a good job of that right now. Another win for you here at the Magic Mile in New Hampshire. So before we let you go and enjoy your 4th win of the season, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, well, thanks to you, man, for putting on the broadcast. Obviously, one of the best in the biz here. It's always fun to go back and watch, and even keep it on during the race just to keep track of what's happening. And everyone that puts this league on, they've got some really cool admins. It's fun to have this unique schedule where we've got random setups of stage lengths and fuel and tires every week, so it makes it fun, shaking it up each time. So yeah, appreciate them having me, and hopefully they'll let me stick around a little bit longer.
Another win for you tonight in New Hampshire. Again, the 4th of your career and the 4th of this season. Congrats on the win. Enjoy it a little bit. Let's go celebrate. We'll see you next week for the regular season finale in Kansas.
Appreciate it.
And in typical Ryan Patty fashion, he's going to burn it down a little bit more on the way out of the interview. He's done this a few times on me, and he's going to do it again here at New Hampshire as he captures win number 4 on the season for the 30 machine. I really liked the answer he gave before we kind of get into, closing this race out. I really liked the answer that he gave, about playoff eligibility and about kind of, whether or not he should be in or I kind of like the way he attacked that, because I didn't really know if he was going to say, well, probably not. I didn't really, follow the number that got agreed on, or he's going to say, well, yeah, I definitely should, which, look, if any driver I think can make that pitch, it's Ryan Patty. 4 wins and 7 starts. He clearly, if he had run 2 more races, we'd be talking about him as a playoff driver right now. So, considering that I figured that maybe that's the answer we'd get, or the answer we probably should get, I liked the way he approached it and said, look, if there's guys around me in points that are longer tenured, or have kind of been here longer during the season and have just taken a break here towards the end of the season, or have had to miss for whatever reason, that he shouldn't get in over them. But then said, hopefully it is enough to get him in. He's up to 12th in the points, leaving here. He might be even higher than that, leaving here from New Hampshire. So we'll wait and see. I'll try to get some answers on that before we come on the air next Tuesday night, and to determine whether or not the 30 will be in the postseason this season, or if he'll have to wait until season 1 of 2026. Well, that will just about wrap it up from New Hampshire. Going forward from here, I'll give you this week's schedule and, of course, where we are next week. First off, Challenger Cup Series returns next Tuesday night from Kansas Speedway here on PGR eSports at about 8:30 p.m. on the East Coast. For the regular season finale, one more opportunity to lock yourself into the playoffs or to get your position better headed to that first race of the postseason in just 2 weeks' time. It's coming up very, very quickly as we get ready to lock in the playoff field. Can't wait for that again next week at Kansas, the last opportunity for that. Kansas has been a fun track in this car, so we'll see what Kansas has to provide next Tuesday night. We'll go through my personal schedule as well as PGR's schedule this week. Let's start with PGR eSports. Thursday night, it's the PGR eSports Intimidator Super Speedway Series with the COT cars, the 2012, 2011 era NASCAR Cup cars at Talladega for a very unique event. Those cars have never made an appearance on PGR before. It's going to be a fun one. You'll want to tune in on Thursday night at about 10:30 Eastern for that one. Friday night, it's Landon Veliky and Trevor Osmanoff in the booth for the Midnight Racing League as their season continues. In fact, they just had their championship race. They may be off on Friday night, so don't count on a race on Friday night. There may be something in its place here on PGR eSports. Stay tuned for that information. And, of course, for PGR, next Monday night, the PGR VRX Light Series returns for another race as well. Race 4 of the season comes to you from, I believe, next week is back to Talladega in the Craftsman trucks. That will be on Monday night with likely either Landon or Mike Triscaro in the booth on the call for that one. Of course, we're back next Tuesday at 8:30. For me personally, a couple dates for you this week for me. Number 1, tomorrow night, I'll be back with the great Justin Prince, DJ Line, and all the folks over at Precision Production Network for production of the Moonshiners Racing League OB Builders Cup Series playoffs from this very track, the Magic Mile in New Hampshire. I believe, as we take another step in the playoffs. The round of 12 begins tomorrow night in the Moonshiners Racing League OB Builders Cup Series. Hope to have you there for all the action in that one. We had a good one at Bristol last week to wrap the round of 16. And then Friday night, I'll be coming back out, I believe, for the Mystic Racing League Octane Outlaws Cup Series, also on Precision Production Network. Got to work their show for Atlanta a couple weeks ago. It was a lot of fun. Hoping to get back with them again this Friday and get in the booth for that race as well. That's going to just about wrap things up here tonight on a Tuesday night. I want to thank everyone for coming out and being a part of tonight's broadcast from New Hampshire, as we had another good race in the Challenger Cup Series, and it's another win for the 30 of Ryan Patty, who gets another victory on his resume here in the Challenger Cup Series at the Magic Mile of New Hampshire. It's going to do it for us. Next time we see you, we'll be at Kansas next week, locking in the playoff field of 16 right here on PGR eSports. My name is Dawson Wise. You've been watching the Challenger Racing League's Challenger Cup Series, Season 2 of 2025. If you don't come back before next Tuesday, we'll see you next week at Kansas. Hope to see you along the way as well as we continue down the road of this season. Until next time, again, my name is Dawson Wise. You've been watching PGR eSports coverage